So we might as well get started, huh? What do you say?
Why not?
Okay. First of all, I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight, and we want to remind everybody that we're expanding this now. Seems that we are now on, we've always been on the South Point website streaming for people who can't make it here, and certainly people who are listening to us from far, far away. But we recently, this year, also are on the YouTube South Point Studios network. In case you guys don't know it, the studio that they have there, we have shows there now, and they're broadcast over the YouTube. You just go to YouTube and punch in South Point Studio, and you'll see the shows, etc. Our show is now on there as well. So we have several ways for people to enjoy this seminar with these two fine handicappers, and so we want to welcome all of you here in the Grandview Lounge here in person, and all of the people who are watching and listening to us via all of that good technology. So welcome to the annual South Point Kentucky Derby Seminar. I want to introduce my compadres here. The guys are going to tell you what they think about the Kentucky Derby. Jonathan Hardoon, handicapper Jonathan Hardoon. And of course, Jon Lindo, handicapper Jon Lindo, who has his Lindo report here each and every day for you, free of charge. And I'm going to try to keep them separated. In any case, we want to get this thing started and move right along. So what we're going to do, I think, is just quickly recap any of your thoughts about the races today. By the way, we did have a special Kentucky Oaks Kentucky Derby preview show on the YouTube network yesterday. And we went through all of the stakes races that happened today on the Kentucky Oaks Day. And I asked each handicapper to give me their thoughts and their picks, etc. And the reason why Jonathan is wearing a tie is because we forced him to do it, because he picked on the show yesterday that $40-something winner in the stakes race today. So all of the people, all of the people who watched that show yesterday got it. And so we said, you know, Jonathan, that horse hasn't got a shot. And if he wins, you got to wear a tie. So they are. So guys, what do you think about today's races? Anything that we can maybe use to handicap and look for winners tomorrow?
Well, we had rain off and on all day today, Ralph. The track was sloppy all day. They're not expecting rain tomorrow. A little rain tonight, right, John? And we should be okay tomorrow. And knowing Churchill Downs, that track should dry out pretty quickly. So not necessarily the same track that we saw today, but I thought it was still pretty fair. I couldn't make an absolute speed bias or inside-outside. So
No, I agree. And the turf course really held up well considering all the rain they had. So
it did. It was listed as yielding, but I don't think it was yielding.
No, there wasn't much, kickback, or you didn't see globs coming out. So.
Right. Yeah. So I thought it was fair, and that's all we want. So you try and find the best horse.
Absolutely.
Would you guys, though, concede or at least have a thought about, it looked to me that some of the horses in these races on the dirt track just did not handle the track at all today. Would you concede to that?
Yeah, especially in the Kentucky Oaks, I thought, Ralph.
Yeah.
I know the winner was really impressive. She went to the lead and she kept going, and a horse that I liked a lot and John liked also was sitting a perfect trip and just didn't kick in, and the winner drew away. But a lot of horses, and you had some really good horses in that race, and they didn't run a step. Tarifa, there were a lot of good horses in that race, and they just didn't show up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the track or whatever it was, but I guess they have excuses for not running well.
What do you think, John?
I agree. Leslie's Rose didn't fire from the outside post. Like say Tarifa, I never heard her get a call.
I never saw her.
And credit to Brian Hernandez Jr., who rode Torpedo Anna. He put her in the race, got down the inside. They didn't give her an easy lead, but she just went on with it. And when they asked her, she pulled away. You had just FYI coming at her, turning for home, and that was the champion 2-year-old last year, and she just ran away for her. So congratulations to them, and keep an eye on the news the next couple of days, because the trainer of that horse, Kenny McPeak, he's the kind of guy that might take a shot running her against the boys in the Preakness. I'm sure the connections will be watching what happens in the Derby tomorrow before they make a decision, but it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a filly take on the boys in the Preakness.
Yeah, but doing that off of a 2-week rest, not the smartest thing in the world.
Well, who says this game is smart?
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the horse players are.
They can be.
I'm giving them credit right now.
Yeah, they can be for sure.
We know they're a hardy group of people. That's for sure. We are, because we put up with a lot with the officials and the rulings and all that stuff. But we come back. That's for sure. In any case, we're going to take a look at the Kentucky Derby for this year. And we have 20 horses in the race. We had one that pushed in when Encino scratched. But in this race, you have 2 Hall of Famers, as far as the jockeys are concerned. You got 4 former winners. So out of all of the jockeys, there are only 4 that have won this race before. You got 9 Eclipse Award champions and 5 first-time starting jockeys in this race that drew assignments for this race. And remember that Florent Garreau and Flavien Prat were on horses that were promoted after disqualifications for their wins from the runner-up in their derbies. So all in all, we've got a pretty, I think, great field of jockeys in this race. Keith Asmussen, Ben Curtis, Antonio Fresu, and Relusi Saki, I guess is how you pronounce it, the Japanese jockey, going to make their debuts. And there have been 28 previous riders who have won America's biggest race on their first try. Remember that. Of course, the latest one was Sonny Leone back in 2022 with Rich Strike. So, gents, are you ready to go over the Kentucky Derby?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Number 1 is Dornoch. This one's a full brother to Mage, who was last year's winner. And believe it or not, there's been 7 times in the history of the Kentucky Derby where there has been related horses back in consecutive years. So this will be the 7th time. Dornoch, 20-1, breaks from the rail. He failed to show his necessary improvement, we believe anyhow, in getting to the Kentucky Derby, but nevertheless, he draws post 1, and we'll let the guy with the tie go first.
Well, I think this horse has a problem. First of all, he drew the rail, and the real problem is he's got only one way to go. He's got a gun for the lead. He's going to step on the gas out of the gate. Unfortunately for him, there's plenty of speed outside of him, so I think he's up against it. What's the odds on him, John?
He is currently 21-1 in the wagering.
Yeah, not long enough for me. I think there are other horses in the race that are also big prices that have a much better chance.
You look at Dornoch, and first of all, nobody wants to draw the rail. I think the last horse to win from the rail in the Derby was Ferdinand, I think, and that was in the 80s, so it's been quite a while. They tried experimenting with Dornoch last time, taking him off the pace in the bluegrass. That didn't work. So we know that he's not going to win from off the pace, which means he's got one way to go. It's been reported he's been battling a quarter crack, which is like a split fingernail on one of the hoofs. They patched that. It's something he's raced with for a while now, so it's not something new. But you worry about if he can't come into the race 100% exactly the way you want to. And from the rail, he's got to go. The speed from the outside is going to come down on him. I just think there's a lot of things against Dornoch in the Derby.
All right, so well, he'll at least have the shortest way to the wire from the rail.
He should.
Yes.
Right. If
All
they
right.
leave him alone, but that's not going to happen. So.
No. Okay, so number 2 is one of the horses that are getting support, Sierra Leone. What's his price right now?
Sierra Leone, it was 9-2 when I checked here about a half hour ago.
9-2 Sierra Leone, trained by Chad Brown. Chad Brown, as you all obviously know, is a very good trainer, but he's still looking for his first Kentucky Derby, and a lot of people think he's overdue, and a lot of people think this is the one that's going to get it for him. Sierra Leone has a ferocious late kick. You saw him circle the field in the Bluegrass Stakes after a slow pace, really. And since adding the blinkers, he's been he's really been a focused horse, Jonathan.
The problem with this horse is you like to envision in your mind when you're handicapping, how a race is going to develop. Nobody drew a worse post position than Sierra Leone with his running style. If he stays up, up close, it's going to take him out of his game and he'll have no late kick. If he decides to stay inside, he's going to need the red seat apart for him to get through. And if he decides to take back, Well, he's got to circle 19 horses. So he's really, with this post position, it's just a sad situation for him because he's one of the best horses in the race. I mean, we loved this horse last time out in the bluegrass, and he was ultra impressive in that race. He was able to win out Keeneland from an outside post on a speed favoring track, and he overcame it all. But now, tomorrow, he's going to be shuffled back. I think he's going to, be shuffled back, and the only way he's going to win is by circling the field. Not an easy thing to do in a field of 20.
You look at Sierra Leone's last 3 races. The Remsen, where he was beaten nose by Dornoch last December, that was the most inside speed bias track I saw last year.
Gold rail.
Could not lose from that inside.
Right.
Sierra Leone came rally wide, got beaten. He ran super that day. He comes off the layoff at Fairgrounds, catches a sloppy track. They absolutely walked on the lead, and he had no business winning that race, but he gets up and he beats Track Phantom and Catching Freedom. Last time out at Keeneland, that opening weekend, there was no passing on the main track, and he came from way back and won it, and he won it under wraps. I think he's run better and better every time he's run. If I'm Chad Brown, the trainer, I tell Tyler Gafflin, just let him drop himself out where he wants to go. I don't care if you're 17, 18, 19 down the... I'd save ground around the first turn, so that way around the second turn, you can go 12 wide. It's not going to matter. He will run a mile and a quarter. He's a $2.3 million yearling, so he's not an ugly thing. He can handle a little bumping and banging around. He's a big-bodied colt. Yeah. I really like this horse. I think 9-2 is a bargain. I think he's going to win the Derby. Like I say, I'll forget about the first half of the race, and I'll pick it up at the half-mile pole and just hope he's in the clear someplace. And, you give him that long stretch at Churchill Downs after the short stretch at Keeneland, he's going to be better than he was last time.
Any rebut?
No.
Okay.
But believe me, he could certainly win. There's no,
Wait.
and I'm using him in my exacta hookups. I just think that he's got too much to overcome. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out.
Yeah, and I can tell you this, though. The one thing I like about it is the jockey, Tyler Gaffleone.
Yeah.
He knows that track like the back of his hand. He's always one of the leaders there at Churchill Downs. And I kind of agree as far as the trip is concerned with John. I think there's going to be a lot of dead wood that he's going to be able to pass very easily. And if he could get to the outside like he did at Keeneland, that's a long stretch at Churchill Downs.
But it's a 20-horse field.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Okay. Anyhow, Mystic Dan is number 3. How important do you guys think a horse that has raced over that track and won over that track, how important is having a successful run over that racetrack already?
It certainly doesn't hurt. It proves to you that he could handle the track. When he won, though, he was sprinting in that race.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying just handling the track. He has a win over the track.
It certainly counts.
Yeah.
It certainly counts. And this is a big prize.
Yeah, I'd love to see proven form at Churchill because some horses don't like it. It's
Yeah.
a
Right,
little
exactly.
different surface, so it's a big plus.
What's the
And-
price on this horse?
Right now, Mystic Dan is 16-1.
And also remember this, he won the Southwest Stakes on a sloppy racetrack. So he's got a few things going for him at a nice little price. I think he's the type of horse that you could put in the exotic for second, third, maybe fourth, okay? So Mystic Dan, and we'll get your opinion, John, first.
Well, first of all, Brian Hernandez writes for Kenny McPeak. Those are the connections that won today's Kentucky Oaks.
Exactly.
Brian Hernandez is known for getting down to the rail, saving ground all the way. From post 3, that's what he has to do. They were probably the happiest of any of the connections in this race, seeing the rain and the sloppy track today. Mm-hmm. They're probably out there turning on the water sprinklers right now, hoping it stays that way. I'm not sure he's a 1.25 mile horse. I thought he flattened out a little bit in the Arkansas Derby. His best chance is if the track stays wet and Hernandez puts a miracle ride on him and gets a mind that bird kind of trip. But I think there are other horses that are faster in this race, and I don't see him improving as much as some of the others in here.
Okay.
Jonathan?
We're good.
Oh, you're done with your, okay. I wanted to make sure. I don't want to, you are the guys that, you know.
I agree with everything he said, so I'm not going to argue with him.
Okay. Well, we don't mind a little argument here, that's for sure. Number 4 is Catching Freedom. He's the only runner in the field that has improved in 5 buyer speed figures and points. he's had higher buyer speed points or more in every single start of his career. So he's continuing an improving horse. And when we're talking about, most of these horses have not gone a mile and a quarter. All of them have not gone a mile and a quarter. Most of them, the furthest they've been is a mile and an eighth. But this horse won that mile and 3/16. So, it bears a little bit about that. Jonathan, how do you feel about Catching Freedom?
He's fine. I mean, listen, Brad Cox certainly knows how to win, and he certainly does well with terrific horses, and this is a good horse. Cox has another horse in the race that we'll get to later that I think is the better of the two Cox horses, if I had to choose. But this horse has done nothing wrong, like you said. He's had 5 career starts. Each race is better than the previous one. He's got time from that race. And guess who's riding? Flavian Pratt.
Yeah,
So,
man.
What's the price on this horse, John?
Catching Freedom is currently 8-1, so he's getting some action.
Yeah, well,
some action.
he's got to take action being Cox and Pratt, so they're just going to automatically take
Sure,
on it.
absolutely.
And the horses, a lot of these horses figure, and a lot of horses are going to jump up and run their best races tomorrow. The idea is to figure out which one it is.
And that's why we're here.
That's it.
And we're putting all the onus on you guys.
That's what we're
We
here
will
for.
all blame you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
I tell you what, Brad Cox, his trainer, won 3 races today. Tarifa ran poorly in the Kentucky Oaks, but on big game days, Brad Cox is a regular visitor to the winner's circle. His horses run well on those kind of days. And I'll ask you, John, because I know your son, Joe Hardoon, buys some horses for owners that are in the Brad Cox stable. I think this horse surprised them a little bit. He's not a good workhorse. He gets outworked very often. A horse that won yesterday, Castle Warner, actually outworked Catching Freedom coming into this race. But this is an afternoon horse. You throw out the workouts, he's fit. I don't think he's had a hiccup coming into this race. I think he's a horse that can easily get into the mix as far as the exotics, and he's getting better as the distances get longer. But am I right? Did this horse surprise these guys?
I think so. I mean, I think they consider him the Allen Iverson, and because he's not interested in working out and practice. He's interested in game time, and he shows his stuff in the afternoon when it counts.
Well, we're betting him in the afternoon.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew that. All right, number 5 is Catalytic. Showed nice improvement in the Florida Derby. The only thing, he was a zip code behind the winner. And he'd have to really improve a lot to make impact in this one. But you never know. John, what do you think about this?
Catalytic has some tactical speed, which you'll probably have to use from post 5. But Ralph, this is a horse that's never beaten winners. He's never won around 2 turns. And like you say, he could have chased Fierceness for 4 days. He wasn't going to catch Fierceness last time. And I just think he's up against it in this spot. I think the only 3 races in his career, the lack of experience, he's not fast enough to make the lead, and I don't see him out finishing the closers in here. So he's kind of, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. He's currently 36-1 on the program.
And he's got to figure out how to make up 13 lengths on Fierceness.
Right.
And nothing indicates that he's going to do that.
He's one of the horses that you think Siri Leone's got to work around, all right?
Exactly.
Right, okay. We move on. Number 6 is Just Steel. This is trained by the coach, D. Wayne Lucas. And we all know how proficient this man has been in his career. Horse has had 11 career starts, and his second place effort in the Arkansas Derby saw him improving, but I know darn well we'd have to improve even more. Jonathan, what do you think?
Well, he ran a big figure last time out. It's a great story. He's using Keith Asmussen, whose father has a horse in the race, so it's going to be interesting. His father's looking for his first Derby win. They'll be coming down the stretch, and you'll have Just Steel, and you'll have Track Phantom, right?
Oh.
And that's trained by Asmussen, and he's going to look at him, and he's going to go, should I go? Should I not go? What are we going to do here?
I don't think he's going to have that problem.
I don't either, but it's just an interesting story.
It sure is.
And it good for him giving the kid a shot. The kid's improved dramatically riding at Oakland all winter. I mean, he was riding for his father, who was probably the leading trainer there. So
sure.
That's a good barn to be in. But I just think off his last race, which was huge, I think he's going to go backwards off of that race.
If you like experience, this is your horse. He's got, not surprising that D. Wayne Lucas has the most experienced horse in the race.
Sure.
11 starts already, 4 starts this year. You know, he's honest. He gives you what he's got. I just don't think he's fast enough here. He doesn't have a style that screams to me mile and a quarter, even though he is by Justify, the Triple Crown winner from 2018. He's a horse that, you know, he'll probably be in the first half of the field early. But again, when it comes crunch time, I just can't see him out finishing some of these other horses. So he's currently 26-1 in the betting, and that's about right for me. He would be a surprise to me.
I think most of the 26-1 at that point is really for D. Wayne Lucas.
The
right?
Lucas guys, yeah.
All right, number 7 is Honor Marie, which is a colt, Honor Marie. Drawn beautifully. The 7 posts. Now we're getting in the area.
Perfect.
Those are perfect post times. So we know he's drawn perfectly. He has a win over the track too.
He's got the 2 best races of his life.
Yeah,
will both run at Churchill.
That's right.
Including a wet track win and a distance win at the end of the year last year.
I'm just going to take a wild guess that you like this horse.
I love this horse.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
I just think this horse, I mean, what's the price on him, John?
Right now, Honor Marie is 12-1. Right, that works.
That's perfect. Yeah. You want a horse that's moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Going
This
into
one
the
has
Derby.
improved, yeah.
And not only that, he proves that he likes the track. Again, his 2 best races were run at this track. He got beat by Sierra Leone, but he's going to get the jump this time, I think, on Sierra Leone, where Sierra Leone may be, dealing with traffic problems. This horse could be clear of the traffic, but again, it's a 20-horse field, so everybody's going to have an excuse.
Right.
His trainer, Whitmore Beckman, worked for both Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher. That's unusual. Usually you're on one of the teams, you don't play for both teams, but he worked for both of those guys. He's a terrific young trainer. He's had some health issues the last week, but he will be at the Derby tomorrow, and Ben Curtis is riding his first mount in the Derby. I just think he's going in the right direction. Listen, there are obviously horses that are better than him at this point, but I hope tomorrow that he makes that big step forward.
John.
You know, I like the prep pattern he has coming into this race. He ran like he needed the start in the Risen Star behind Sierra Leone, but he galloped out really well that day. I thought he'd run well last time in the Louisiana Derby, and he did. He got out finished late by Catching Freedom, but he fired. He ran his race. And like I say, he likes Churchill Downs. He'll handle wet or dry, doesn't matter. I think he's going to run his best race of his career tomorrow. Is it going to be good enough to win? I don't know. Ben Curtis is a little bit of a concern to me. He's never been on a big dance like this. He's got to have a come-from-behind horse in a 20-horse field. If it's not too big a deal for him and he can work out a trip, Honor Marie has a chance in this race. I'll use him to complete my exotics. I'm not going to play him to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you notice if he rode any races today or if he's got any mounts earlier tomorrow to kind of get his...
I think he was on
test
one
ride?
horse today. I saw his name somewhere. I was actually surprised that he stayed with him. I like loyalty. I like when a person's loyal. You know, you don't see that anymore in this world. And I think it's a positive sign. You know, I think the karma's right here.
We need him to get a little used to the track, though. You know what I'm talking about? Anyhow.
Listen, the guy that won on 2 years ago.
Sonny Leone.
Sonny Leone.
Yeah.
You know.
A miracle ride. From post 21, he's coming up the rail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't happen.
It can happen.
Can't happen.
It can happen. All right. By the way, one of the elements that I think is important after we see all of the past performances and you guys do your Ouija board numbers and all that other stuff is obviously the post position, once that's done, and how the horses are working and on that racetrack. And this horse has been working great.
Yeah.
Honor Marie is working great there.
He's ready to make that big step forward.
All right.
And that's the idea, to catch the right horse on the first Saturday in May.
Exactly.
And that's the whole key.
All right, so we took care of Honor Marie, and now we're going to go to, who's next here?
Encino
Just
is
a touch.
scratched.
Encino is scratched.
No,
Just a touch.
Just a touch is the next one.
Yeah.
Not just steal, just a touch.
The other Brad Cox horse in the race.
This horse has a lot of ability. He was second to both the Gotham and the Bluegrass behind Sonny Leone. So he might be improving too, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's his first race over the track, but he's worked well over the track. And listen, he's making career start number 4. The Cox regular rider, Florent Giroux, rides this horse, so that's all good. And again, you're dealing with Cox, you're getting 10-1. The horse has 3 career starts. He's never done anything wrong. No races as a 2-year-old. Well, we got rid of that problem a few years ago when the horses...
Justify took care of that.
Exactly. So, and Justify happens to be his father. So, there you go.
All right. Apple not falling too far from the tree.
There you go.
Before we get to your thought about this, John, I was thinking about the, you're talking about Brad Cox. Do you think the jock Florent Giroux had his pick of the 2 horses?
I have no idea, but I'm sure they'd all discuss it. Giroux, I don't think he rode the Catching Freedom his first 2 starts. But
Pratt rode him the last time,
yeah,
so that's why he secured
probably.
that.
And Giroux's ridden just a touch in all 3 of his starts, so.
John?
Yeah, I think that was started a while.
Yeah.
Flavian Pratt flew down to Louisiana just to ride that horse.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't take him off after that.
Well,
so.
I got news for you. Not only did he go fly down there, he got the job done too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Just a Touch, the Bluegrass was his very first race around 2 turns, and he pressed a really hot pace. They went fast early.
Yeah.
And he put away all the other speed, and he looked like he might be a winner turner for home. And here comes Sierra Leone chugging down the outside and ran right by him. But it was not a bad effort. He was almost 4 lengths clear of the rest of the field. If he moves forward again, which he can, he's got a chance in here. The only thing I worry about is that there is speed to his outside. So if he doesn't, I don't think he's going to make the lead. Is he going to eat all that dirt? Because he was in the clear last time, even though he was pressing the pace, he never had to get dirt in his face. Is that going to bother him? I don't know. And like I say, very lightly raced. The upside is there. If he improves a little bit, he can win the race. But again, he's going to have to he's got to be a really, really special horse to win.
The other thing is, last time was his first time around 2 turns, where
Right.
Sierra Leone has done nothing but run 2 turns. So
Right.
he certainly had a condition edge on him.
Right.
Now, with his last race going 2 turns, first time under his belt, he certainly has a right to make a forward move.
I got to tell you, I think he's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
What's the price on him?
Just a Touch is currently 12-1.
Wow.
Nice prices, man.
Yeah.
Do a little boxing and have a
Yeah.
good time. All right, number 10 is T.O. Password. This is the Japanese horse. Here, and they're talking about a horse that didn't make a start as a 2-year-old. This is the horse that didn't make a 2-year-old start. As a matter of fact, he's making only his 3rd career start in the Kentucky Derby. And so, John, I'm sure your comment will be brief.
Well, I know very little about T.O. Password, except he's supposed to have some speed. I didn't see the films of his 2 races in Japan. He does have a 1.125 win, and he worked this week, and he really surprised me. He worked a half mile in 46-2, which I didn't expect to see from a Japanese horse. He galloped out 5 furlongs in a minute, so he does have speed. To me, he's one of the keys to the race into how fast they're going to go the first half mile of this race. I think as lightly raced as he is, Kazushi Kimura in his Derby mount here probably has to go. And I think he's just going to send this horse, try and make the lead, and see how far he'll run. There's too many question marks to me. He's a big price. He's 52-1. I think he has a pace casualty written all over him here, but I think we'll hear his name at least for the first couple of calls.
Yeah, it's interesting. He became eligible for the race by winning the last race that he was in. And I know someone that I respect that said the race was a nothing race. He beat a nothing field.
Right.
And 52-1, he says, is an underlay. So I believe him, and I'll pass on him.
The other Japanese horse will break next to him in post 11. That's Forever Young, a horse who has a little bit more body to him, I think, in his past performances. This Japanese import is the best of the 2 foreign invaders, obviously. He has tactical speed, and that was a nice win that he had, I believe, in Dubai or Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he's 5 for 5,
Yeah,
so he's
yeah.
done nothing wrong.
Right.
The problem that I have with this horse is that he just ran in Maidan, on March 30th. Usually when you have these horses that come back from the Middle East, it takes them a couple of months before they're ready to run. Now you're asking him to do it on a month's rest? It may be too much, too quick, too soon. So for that reason, what's the price on him, John?
Forever Young is 7-1, so he
Yes.
is one of the wagering choices right
He's
now.
certainly taking money, but at 7-1, I probably would pass.
Would you think that a lot of that money is probably Japanese?
Well, absolutely. I
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
the overseas contingent have liked this horse quite. He was touted going into the Saudi Derby.
Yeah, he ran well.
Yeah, he was green as grass, but he got that done. And then
Yeah.
he came back in the UAE Derby. He looked a lot more professional winning that race. I don't think the mile and a quarter is going to bother him one bit. But one thing in the post-race interview that his trainer, Mr. Yoshigi, said, this horse does not like kickback in his face. And you look at his post draw, you've got Teal Password to his inside, and then you have the Track Phantom to his outside. Both speed horses. I don't think he's going to outbreak them, and then he's going to have to eat that dirt. And now you have a problem if that is not what he wants to do. So the jockey, Mr. Sakai here, has got his work cut out. This horse has ability, but I think he's got a lot of obstacles in the race.
I'm not happy when trainers start making excuses before the race.
Right? Yeah, it's a little early to throw
That's
that out
not a
there.
good sign.
And so-
Usually they go into their book of excuses after the race.
Yeah, but you see, he's got an out because he said the horse doesn't like kickback.
Exactly.
Exactly. But here's the thing: if the horse makes a big upset and wins, he said, but he loves mud.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he got that out.
Yeah.
All right. So the next horse in the post position here for the Kentucky Derby will be number 12, Track Phantom. Track Phantom. I think Track Phantom kind of peaked a lot earlier.
That's the problem with
Yeah.
him. He never got better from a 2-year-old. You know, he came out, he was really promising. I mean, he ran good race after good race, but he just doesn't seem like he's getting better, and he may be over-raced at this point. I know only 7 career starts, but he's just not getting better, and he's going to be part of the pace. So he's going to be another problem, you know, for Fierceness or whoever else is going to the lead, because he only has one way to go also.
Absolutely.
So the first quarter or the first part of the race is really going to dictate what the story is.
Yeah, no question about that. And he draws inside of Fierceness,
Right.
so he's going to.
He's in trouble.
Yeah.
But he's outside of Dornoch, so
Yeah. it doesn't-
everyone else is too.
Yeah.
Well, Track Phantom was the favorite in the Louisiana Derby. He made the lead like he wants to, and he got to set a very tepid pace. They weren't going very fast, and they still ran him down pretty easily. That was a mile and 3/16, which tells me I don't think this is a mile and a quarter horse. And you have a speed horse here that Steve Asmussen is experimenting in the Derby, putting blinkers on. So what blinkers usually do? They put more speed in your horse.
That's right.
So it kind of tells me what they're going to do. They're going to come out running, and all the speed horses to his inside. This is one of the problems you have, because this horse is going to be laying on you if you're not on the lead. If he doesn't make the lead, he gets nothing. So I think he's got one way to go. He's going to ensure a fast pace, and it could be a really fast pace depending if the other guys decide to run with him.
But we do have a little sentimental rooting interest for this horse. He's named after a handicapper that's on your show often on Race Day Las Vegas, Dave
Yeah.
Valento, the
Yeah,
track
well,
phantom.
I don't like the fact that he didn't pick him on top.
That's not
That's not a good sign.
I mean, come on. You
You're
got to
right.
take the bullet if the guy names a horse
I was
after
just
you.
mentioning it. I was giving Dave a plug, that's all.
All right. Anyhow, now we can. Let's see if we can get to some other.
Oh, he's
serious-
41-1, by the way.
Oh, is he
41-1.
Yeah, well, Dave hasn't made the bet yet, then, huh?
Yeah, right.
Apparently not.
Okay. West Saratoga is the next horse, and I don't really have much to say about him. So you guys go ahead. I'll let John go first.
Well, West Saratoga is 30-1 on the in the current betting, and that to me is an underlay. The best thing I can say about him is that he's got a stakes win at Churchill Downs. He won the Iroquois there last summer. He's got tactical speed, but he doesn't really finish. And I think the longer distance is probably not going to help him at all. I just think he's one of those horses that when they get to that far turn, he's going to be the one going backwards when some of the others are going to be going forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty slow off the figures. The only possible plus that I could find for this horse is that he's out of Exaggerator, and if the track comes up what everybody knows how well Exaggerator did on off tracks. This horse has never been on one. I don't think he has any chance. What's the price on him?
He is 30-1, which I think is low.
Yeah, that's an underlay. I agree.
What, all you people from Saratoga betting this horse? Just
Probably
because of the name?
West of
West of Saratoga, yeah, right. This horse is going to be east of the finish line, too. Okay, now let's get started with something else here. We're going to go next to Endlessly, a horse who likes a synthetic racetrack, and I have no idea what this mud would do to him, but I'll let you go first there, Jonathan.
This is a mistake running here. I mean, listen, the horse is improving, but he's improving on synthetic. You know, and he's run on turf and synthetic. He's going to try dirt for the first time in the Derby. I don't know. I would have found certainly a race to try to run him on the dirt before this. What's the price on him?
Right now, Endlessly is 45 to 1.
Yeah.
John, now we know that the trainer was, he didn't even want to, he wanted to go in the turf race earlier in the card.
Right.
But,
Endlessly is a very, very good turf
Turf horse,
and he'll
yeah.
run the mile and a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only problem is they're running on dirt.
We understand that, but
problem.
I think this is where you know, you get an owner that gets this Derby fever and kind of overrules his trainer.
Well, Endlessly, you watch him work on the dirt, and he's not impressive. He's not nearly the horse you see when he runs on the grass. He handled the synthetic fine at Golden Gate and Turfway Park. This is an owner's call. Mr. Amerman is 92 years old. He's put $1 gazillion in this business. He's got one chance to run in the Derby, and this is not the trainer's call. Michael McCarthy would be in the American Turf if he had his option.
Yeah.
So they're taking a shot, and out of respect for Mr. Amerman, they're going to do their best. But I think he's a fish out of water in here. I really do think. I hope he runs terrible, so when he gets back on the turf, I might get a better price.
Not anymore.
He won't be on the dirt after tomorrow. That's going to be it.
All right. Next to him in post 15 is Domestic Product. Gets one of the hottest and most talented riders in the world, I think, Irad Ortiz Jr. That's got to help him out, John.
Oh, absolutely, and you're going to get Irad at a price. 31 to 1 currently in the betting.
Whoa.
And here's the story about Domestic Product. Yes, his numbers are not fast enough to win this race. But the Tampa Bay Derby, which he won, you have to remember that's the day they had that power outage.
45-minute
and
delay.
a 45-minute delay. They were standing, walking around that paddock. They didn't even know they were going to run the race. And then when they finally do, they come out and absolutely crawl on the front end. He's sitting behind a pace where they went the half mile in 51 seconds, 6 furlongs in 1:16 and change, and he still rallied to get up. I thought he ran super that day. He is trained really well. He's been the regular workmate for Sierra Leone. He keeps right with him in the morning. This horse is going to run a better race than you see on paper. He will get the mile and a quarter, I think. And I don't think he won't be nearly as far back as Sierra Leone. He'll probably be in 10th, 12th, 13th, kind of in the middle. And I do think he's got a chance in here at 30 to 1. I'm absolutely going to use him in the trifectas, to try and complete these because I like the stablemate, but I'm not going to let Irad beat me at 30 to 1 either.
It's the other Chad Brown
It
horse.
worked today.
Yeah, it did.
Irad won on the other Chad Brown on the grass
Yep.
today.
But
Yep.
I want to just say something. Not only was his last race a paceless race, the race at Gulfstream 2 starts back was also a paceless race on a track that you can't make up any ground, and he still ran well. I think he's still a little slow, and he has to improve. What was his price?
30 to 1.
30 to 1. I'm not going to.
That's a nice source to put in
on the
tries
bottom.
and
So,
supers.
yeah, he's going to suck up.
Okay, and Irad is going to ride to the
Yes,
wire. So.
we hope. Yes, and everyone should be riding to the wire
Well,
every race, but more important, certainly in the Derby.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
though. And not only that, but Irad on occasion will knock a few people over trying to get there. So it's one of those things there. Okay, are we all done with him? Anybody want any more comments on Domestic Product?
We're done.
Well, this one's done too. Number 16 is Grand Mo the First.
He's hit the board in all 6 of his career starts. That's all I could tell you. I don't think he has any chance tomorrow, but that's besides the point. What's his price?
Granmo the first is 48 to 1. His 2 wins were on synthetic track sprinting. That doesn't mean he's going to win in a mile and a quarter in the Derby on dirt. So, to me, he's a pass.
He's one of those horses that can get in the way of Sierra Leone.
Just
man.
just stay out of the way.
Get out of the way. All right. Well, the horse next to him is Fierceness. He's the favorite in the Kentucky Derby. John Velasquez, Todd Pletcher, Mike Rapoli, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. One of those things. I want to let John go first
Good.
on this
Go
one.
ahead.
Yeah. What's the price on him, John?
Right now, Fierceness is the favorite. He's 5 to 2 in the
Oh.
betting.
Okay.
And he is the one horse in this race that does not have to improve to win. He's the fastest horse in the race. The question you have to ask yourselves, is he going to run his race, and do you want to take the low price to find out? He ran just a dud after he broke his maiden so impressively at Saratoga. In the Champagne, he ran a dull 7th. He came back in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and looked like, a superstar. So we're expecting that horse to come back in the Holy Bull at Gulfstream. Yes, he had an awful lot of trouble after the start, got roughed up, and then he emptied out in the stretch behind Hades and then Domestic Product, who we just talked about. Then he comes back against a weak field in the Florida Derby. He was able to make the lead like he wants to do, and it was see you later. He ran a fast race, a 110 Beyer speed figure. And John, from a magazine sheet standpoint, his numbers have got to be, his good races have got to be really good.
Listen, he ran a 5 as a 2-year-old and a 7 first out, which is unheard of. You don't do that.
Right.
The problem I have with this horse is he's never put 2 races together, like you said.
Right.
He runs a good race,
Right.
followed by a bad race. Well, last time out, he ran one of the good races.
Right.
Time for the bad race. And if he's going to be the favorite, I'm certainly going to use this horse out of respect for the good races he has. But I don't want to key a horse like this at a short price that's never put 2 races together, that's going to face other speed. No easy leads tomorrow, that's for sure. He's drawn well, believe it or not, breaking from the 17 post.
He's in the 16 now because of the
He's in
scratch
the
of his
16, right. 17, everyone was worried. Oh, the 17 never won the Derby. That's nonsense. Now he's in the 16. How do we know the horses that broke from the 17 post in the past Derby races? They could have been a bunch of 50-to-1 shots. How do we know? So that's a ridiculous stat to look at. That's just my opinion. Again, the problem I have with him is he never put 2 races together. Yes, tomorrow could be the day that he does, and if he does, he'll win. Right. But as the favorite, it's just a bad betting proposition to take a short price in a 20-horse field, asking a horse to do something that he's never done before. That's all.
I agree with you, too. I think the post is a plus for him.
Yeah.
If he was down inside.
He's outside all the other speed. If he
Right.
drew the rail, he'd be dead.
He likes to be in the clear and
Yeah.
the fresh air and everything else, and he ought to be there tomorrow if he breaks. He's got to break. Johnny Velasquez will put him in the race, and if he's sitting second in the clear outside of track Phantom around the first turn, he's going to be awful tough to beat.
Yeah.
But is he going to be there? I just don't know, and at a low price, I can't take that chance.
I agree.
Well, I could put that horse on top as long as I got a lot of good prices
Bombs underneath.
Yeah, right.
If you want to play him, you
bu-
got to play with low
build,
price horses.
you're
underneath.
building
Yeah.
building your bet, which I'll get into with you guys after we're done with this, because we want to know how you're going to build your bets. So anyhow, that's Fierceness. We all know about that. The next horse is Stronghold. Antonio Fresu aboard for Phil D'Amato. We all know how these guys work out in Southern California. And this he had a gutty win in the Santa Anita Derby, I thought, John.
He's improving every time. He was gutsy splitting horses to win the Santa Anita Derby, but Ralph, the question is, who did he beat? It was a bad field. And I'm a California guy, that was a terrible field. He got an 89 Beyer speed figure winning that race, which is very slow. I don't think he's seen anything like what he's going to see in this field on tomorrow. He does have a win at Churchill Downs, and I'm rooting for Phil D'Amato, who I think is a great trainer. And it's Antonio Frese's first mount in the Derby, and he's had a terrific winner here at Santa Anita. He's a good rider, so don't worry. If you like the horse, don't worry about Antonio Fresu. I don't think this moment is too big for him. I just think he's on a horse that's not fast enough.
I agree. He is getting a little better on the figures, but now you're getting to the 18 post. Also on a horse that doesn't have much speed. He's also going to have to come from behind, but he may find himself in a good spot, believe it or not.
Well, one thing I want to say about it, too, he's kind of taking the back door into the Derby.
Right.
You don't go Los Alamitos Futurity to Sunland Derby and sneak in and then catch a bad field in the Santa Anita Derby, and all of a sudden you're in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Again, the
What's
question
the
is,
price on him?
Stronghold is currently 32-1. So he's kind of done. He's done
Another one on the
right.
bottom. Maybe.
Yeah,
He's
third-
a well-managed horse to get
Right.
here.
Third
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
fourth in the exotic.
Supers.
Yeah, right. Okay, after that is Resilience. This horse has a little bit of speed since they put blinkers on him. And he ran well in the Wood Memorial, but that race has been kind of a vacant race for a long time for the Kentucky Derby.
I will tell you one thing. The day he won at Aqueduct last time out, the inside was the place to be. That's kind of a bias-aided number, I think, but he is improving. It's Bill Mott, who's a terrific trainer, but I think he's up against it here. He only has 6 starts. Well, a lot of them are lightly raced, but I don't think that he's going to make that next step forward.
He's trained well for this race, according to the guys at Churchill Downs. From a sentimental standpoint, I'd like to see him run well. His breeder, Marty Whitegod, recently passed away.
Yeah.
Did a lot of good things and a lot of philanthropic things off the racetrack. He gave this horse to his daughter, Emily, and his racing manager, Rick Malvin. They're the owners of this horse. So I'd like to see him running well just to represent Mr. Whitegod, but he's got some tactical speed, but those have been slow-paced races. They're going to be going a lot faster here. He's going to find himself a lot farther back than he's used to being. And I think, again, one of those horses, he could improve a little bit, but I just don't think he's fast enough.
Price?
Price.
He is, resilience 27-1.
Yeah, but you see, you keep counting 30 to 1, 27 to 1, 32 to 1, but there are some of them that are better than those. You know what I mean?
Not to mention the fact that was all the money that the people that were there today, and the real money starts coming in tomorrow, because most of the people there today went today because they're not going to be there tomorrow.
Okay.
In any case, we're going to go to Society Man next. This horse was like 100 to 1 in the Wood Memorial, and there was a reason for that.
Yeah, Danny Gargan must have been real happy on draw day. He drew the rail with Dornoch, and then he draws the 20 post with this horse. So he must have
Not
felt
living
a little
right.
snake bit. But
Maybe we can get him out here. He could just watch the race up here with us in the ballroom tomorrow and not worry about all that traffic and all that, huh?
not only that, but he is coming off of a huge race last time out. He's got to be 100. Now, no one's 100 to 1, is he?
Nobody ever goes 100-1 in the Derby. He is 53 to 1 in the current
I was going to
betting.
say 50 to 1.
What a short price on that
that's
horse.
an underlay.
No kidding. And of course, the horse that drew in because Encino drew out is Epic Ride. And this horse, I think,
Isn't Frankie Dettori riding this horse?
Well, no, Society Man, yeah, and that's
Oh,
the one
Society
thing I
Man.
want to root for. Frankie's always wanted to win the Derby.
Yeah.
And if he's coming down the lane, he'll pick up and carry this horse home if it has to do it. He's riding great.
And he has experience in
Yeah.
20-horse fields riding in Europe.
Yeah.
So-
I think he's going to find out what the mud feels like.
and
there in the back.
we all got to wait for that dismount if he wins it in the in the winner's circle. That's for sure. All right, then Epic Ride is the one on the outside that got in by virtue of Encino's scratch, and I'll let you go first, John.
Well, you see the bulk of his work done on the synthetic track at Turfway Park this winter. The one thing about drawing in, he does have some tactical speed, and from the outside, Adam Beschizza probably has to send him. It's possible he could be laying on Fierceness's outside and make things difficult. I don't think he's fast enough, but it's possible, and that's the one way I think he can affect the race. I don't think he's good enough to win the race. I couldn't make an excuse for him when he ran third behind Sierra Leone at Keeneland. That was his first dirt race. And drawing post 20, that's a tough go, so a lot of things to take a stand against him.
Now, John, when you say, he has an opportunity to affect the race because, he can put the pressure on Fierceness and he could be his worst nightmare.
Well, he can make that pace
Yeah,
go faster.
yeah.
And if that happens, then all of a sudden it changes how the race is going to be run.
Yep.
So they can have an effect on the race.
The problem is he's not the only one that's going to have an effect, that's going to go early. You're going to have at least 5 or 6 other horses going early. So
I hope so.
yeah, well, you hope so and I hope so.
Well, Track Phantom's going to be,
Dornoch, Track Phantom,
Just a touch.
Just a touch.
Close.
See,
And the Japanese
and
horse.
that's
And the
exactly
Japanese
why
horse.
he's sitting there saying when all those horses come back to me, a wall of the horses retreating, and Sierra Leone's going to say, hey, what the hell am I going to He'll go wide.
There you go.
Sierra Leone's going to go
He's
wide.
got to go wide.
He'll get by all of them in a flash.
We'll find out.
Yeah. All right, so that's the field. Attractive prices on almost everybody except the 2 favorites, and if you like the favorites, then you're going to have to put them with some other horses to make make it happen. So now the question is, how are you guys going to build your bets, etc.? Before we get to that, I do want to mention a couple of things, though. One is they do have here in the race book the Kentucky Derby matchups. They have teamed 2 horses in these matchups each. And all you have to do in the matchup to win it is to beat the other horse that he's matched up with. You can finish next to last as long as that horse finishes last, and you win.
You could finish 19th and cash a ticket.
Exactly. The matchups are Sierra Leone and Catching Freedom, Fierceness and Sierra Leone, Fierceness, and Catching Freedom.
But you're also laying prices. You have to explain that to people.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
It's just not you're picking one
Well,
against the other. You're paying for it.
It's like a football bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honor Marie and Endlessly, and the reason why I didn't give the prices is because they have changed.
Yeah, well, they will change by the amount of money that comes in.
Right. So in other words,
But if you get an opportunity to bet Anna Marie against Endlessly, you should be running to the window.
yeah, that's going to
Somebody
be
already did.
that's going to be a big.
That's why
favorite.
I'm telling everyone to do it now.
We'll let you go.
I did it already.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anyhow, I want to complete the matchups.
Oh, I'm sorry.
People get a little
Well, it's right there at the stand. You could.
I know, but they're sitting here.
I know, but when they're going to get up and go, they got to get past there to get to the window.
Honor Marie Endlessly, Forever Young TO password.
A Japanese matchup.
Yep. Just a Touch to Track Phantom. Catalytic, Domestic Product. Resilient and Stronghold and Dornoch and Mystic Dan. Guy picks a $40 winner, and all of a sudden, he's getting. He's getting a lot of muscle to him.
I had 4 coffees because I'm operating on no sleep for 3 days. So.
Yeah. Well, you get sleep on the plane on the way back.
Okay.
All right, now, how are you guys going to build your bets?
Well, obviously, it's going to be a game time decision when you see final odds. But you go in with a plan, and my personal plan is I'll be keying Anna Marie, and I'm going to use the obvious horses with him. I'm going to use Sierra Leone for sure. I'm going to use Just a Touch for sure. I'm going to use a little Domestic Product, and obviously Fierceness. So that's the way that I'm going to play it.
All right, I got to get my pen.
You need a pen?
No, I got my pen. I don't want your pen.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'll give one bet that
No,
don't.
no. We got to get it.
Okay, you want to write it down?
Yeah, I'm writing it down now. Okay, give me the numbers.
7 with
7 with
2, 8, 17. Those are going to be your main punches, and then you can throw underneath a little bit of Domestic Product, a little bit Stronghold.
number.
Oh, I'm sorry. 18, and Domestic Product's the 15, and Stronghold is the 18.
All right, so you got the 7 over 2, 8, 17 to 15 and 18.
Right. 15 and 18 I'm going to use in third and fourth slot.
Right,
But I'm
7
going to
with
play
two-
exact as first and second with the 2, 8, and 17.
Okay, you got it. The 7 over 2, 8, 17 and reverse and exactus.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And main punch probably with Fierceness and Sierra Leone.
One bet that gets overlooked on a day like tomorrow with a 20-horse field, bet across the board.
Yeah.
The place prices are huge. The show prices are huge. I mean, when Fusaichi Pegasus won, he paid $6 to win, but he paid $4.20 to show, I think.
Yeah.
You're going to get value there because there's so many different horses in the race.
And there's so much money bet.
Yeah, it's not a sexy bet, but if you're trying to make money
Right.
and you like your horse, I mean, I'm going to bet, I love Sierra Leone. I'm going to bet him across the board because if he doesn't win, I think he's going to get there someplace.
Whoever you like, that's a price.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet the 7 also
Right.
across the board. I mean, if you like anything over 10, 12, 15 to 1.
Yeah, make sure you cover yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To hit an exact in a 20-horse field or a try, not always the easiest thing to do.
Right. So first of all, do that. Cover yourself.
Right.
If the horse you like wins the Derby, you're cashing. I'm going to play exacta boxes. I'll key Sierra Leone, and this is all on the Lindo report tomorrow. That we have copies up here after we're done. You can pick them up.
Right there.
But I'm going to key the 2 Sierra Leone over the 4, 7, 8, 15, and 17. So that's the 4. Oh,
That's okay. You got the 2 over the 4, 7, 8, 15, 17.
Right,
The
and I'll use
4
those same horses again in the track, except I'm going to use the 2 and the 17, the 2 favorites, because I do think they're
gonna hit the board.
I think they're lengths ahead of this field.
Yeah,
but I'll use the 2 and 17 over these other horses, and hope one of those 2 wins, and I get the long shots to come up in the second and third spots.
And if one of them fails the fire, then you're still
Right.
got
He has
the
a backup
other one
plan.
covered.
Right.
It's like
Yes.
calling an audible.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make a good, solid one-place show bet on Sierra Leone because I really like this horse tomorrow.
All right. Now, that's the Derby.
Okay.
A lot of great races tomorrow.
There is a lot of great races.
And so we are not, we'll be happy to bet another race before the Derby if you guys want to give us maybe a horse or two in any one of the other races that you really like.
I like a horse in the Pat Day Mile. I like the number 11 horse in here.
That's race number 8, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Race number 8, which is the Pat Day Mile.
Mm-hmm.
The number 11 horse, Valos. Is that the way you pronounce it?
Vlahos.
Vlahos.
Vlahos?
Just pronounce him a winner.
Just go up to the window and say number 11, please.
Yeah, give me the 11.
Yeah, this is an interesting horse. He ran super in his career debut, and he was privately purchased by the Doug O'Neill people after the race.
Yep.
He draws an outside box going a flat mile, and he's getting Edwin Maldonado to ride. So you know one thing. He's going full steam ahead. We'll find out how good he is. I think he's 8-1, or he's certainly 8-1 on the morning line.
Yep.
If I get anyone out of that price, I'm willing to pay to find out if he can get the mile, and I think he will get the mile.
And just a reminder that at Churchill Downs, the way the track is configured, it's a one-turn mile. Looks like
Right.
a 7-furlong race. They don't go around 2 turns.
2 different horses for me I'm going to bet that are early on the card. In the third race tomorrow, it's an allowance race. The 11-horse Mindframe is just going to get hammered in the wagering off a huge win sprinting at Gulfstream Park. He draws a bad post here. He's going to have to go from the outside. I love his stablemate. I love number 9, Invigorated, who won from post 11 routing at Gulfstream, which you just don't do. And he got parked really wide that day, and he just kept coming and coming. He's a legitimate route horse. There's speed in this race to push Mindframe early. I just hope they go really fast early and then get out of the way, and I hope I win with the other Todd Pletcher. I like Invigorated. He's 9-2 in the program. Right back in the 4th race, a daily double for me. In the 4th race, number 7, Kapuna, ran super going on 1-turn mile at Churchill Downs last year. I think this is what he wants to do. There's a lot of speed in the Knicks Go Stakes. He'll be off the pace a little bit, and I think the 1-turn mile is absolutely perfect. Again, 6-1 is a very fair price. So if I can get a 9-7 daily double, races 3 and 4, and win bets depending on what the prices are, that'll get me going early. I'll be on the radio at that time, so yeah. there'll be some rooting in the headsets.
Do we have enough time? How much time do we have here now?
As long as you want.
No, I mean, what time is it?
It's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay, so we've been here for just about an hour. We got on a little bit late. Couple of things. The Grand Ballroom upstairs tomorrow will open up. The doors will open at 9 a.m. They got big banquet tables. You can spread out all your handicapping stuff, etc. Food and beverage discounts for your food and beverage. There'll be plenty of betting windows. There are also betting kiosks, and they're going to have a hat contest at 2 o'clock. They're going to have a hat contest, so wear your best hat, because there's 3 different categories, and there's cash prizes for every one of those categories. You can pick up the flyer in the book. This race book right now behind us is going to stay open until midnight tonight. So if you want to do your handicap or early betting for the early races tomorrow, you can do it. It'll be open till midnight tonight. They're going to be open here in the book tomorrow, in the book here, around 6:30, right around 6:30, about a half an hour before the first post time at Churchill Downs, if you want to come in early for that. And like I said, the doors open in the ballroom at 9 a.m. Tomorrow morning, and it's all free of charge to you, including, as you know, parking your car is free. And I just want to make mention to the fact that I'm pretty sure we'll be up there playing the races, etc. And you guys want to say anything before? We'll open it up to questions for just a couple of minutes.
One thing for me, in the ballroom tomorrow, at Churchill Downs tomorrow, if you want to buy a mint julep, it's going to cost you $23. I'm going to take the unders on the price in the ballroom tomorrow if you want to get a mint julep upstairs, okay? The South Point Hotel is doing their best to make this a player-friendly event.
Yep.
You know, they want you to play, have fun, but they're not going to gouge you to do it. And I think we got to support that and appreciate it, because that's not the way things are done on a regular basis.
And a special thanks to Steve Johnson, who he does an unbelievable job.
Steve does. He's a great racebook director.
And he really deserves a lot of credit. He does a lot of things behind the scenes that people aren't aware of.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about it is there's a few places in town. I saw an ad about 2 weeks ago, and I'm not going to mention the place. They're having a Kentucky Derby party. The entrance to the
$200?
$125 a person. get in.
Yeah, okay. Guess what? It's free here.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you and I both know that if you're treated right and you're spending less money on the things that make the day comfortable and happening, like food and all that, drinks and all that other stuff, we're not walking out with the money like we're going to take it out and take it home. We're going to put it in action anyhow. So they're giving us a chance to, with whatever bankroll you got, to get the best out of it, play
Get
the
a bang
races,
for
and
your
enjoy
buck.
yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what
Absolutely.
it's all about. And I got to tell you, in working with a lot of places over the years here, they really do respect and love horse players. And we'll keep doing these things as long as you keep coming out and supporting it. And I hope you appreciate that. And of course, there you go. Proof right there. All right, we're going to open it up to questions real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Anybody have a question?
Go ahead.
We want to see some race day hats and race day T-shirts.
You want to see some race day T-shirts?
And hats.
T-shirts and hats.
Uh,
We'll leave that up to this gentleman right here.
Yeah, well, we'll leave it up to the sponsor if they want to. By the way, one last thing is real quick is we are now doing the as I say, the radio shows turned into TV shows now. So we're doing it at the YouTube. You could go to South Point Studios on YouTube, and all you have to do is punch it up, and you'll see the show, and you'll hear, and you'll see these guys and all that. And we really enjoy doing it for you, and we like your support, that's for sure. When you go there, just hit subscribe. If you haven't already, it's free. They just want to get an idea of the folks out there. That's
John, somebody handed you a question?
Yes, I feel like Karnak the Magnificent here. He wants to know if Bo Cruz has a chance in the 10th race.
10th race, Bo Cruz. I thought it was somebody was giving you a phone
That's the
number or
Churchill
something.
Downs Stakes.
Yeah, the phone number.
7
there,
furlongs.
He absolutely has a shot. I have a general rule. If someone likes a horse that's 10-1 and asks me about him, I would never talk him off him. If he likes a favorite and I don't like him, well, I would tell you I don't like him. But if a horse is 10-1, I'm not smarter than anyone else. You found a 10-1 shot, absolutely bet him. The horse definitely has a chance.
He's getting better. I will say this, in the win last time in the Commonwealth of Keeneland, there was no pace, so he got a really easy trip, but he ran well.
Yeah.
And so who's to say he's not this good now? We're going to find out. So again, you like him at 10-1, you play him.
And he's got a guy named Jose Ortiz on him that doesn't hurt.
That helps.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Anybody else before we wrap it up? Okay, I know we all got to, get a good night's sleep because everybody wants to be here and enjoy the entire day. Come join us in the ballroom, and we thank you so much for your participation. Oh, we got one.
Steve?
Come here. This is Steve.
Here he is.
Oh, here we go.
You beat him. Okay.
There we go.
Come on, Steve.
Hi, guys. Just another thing that we have going on up in the ballroom party, there is going to be a photo booth with a Kentucky Derby backdrop. So if you want to get your
Ooh.
picture
Oh, you were
taken
in
with
Churchill, didn't
your
you?
hat, or just get your picture taken, you can pretend you were actually at Churchill.
There you
You
go.
can tell
There you
your
go.
friends you were there.
It was cool. I
It
I
should
took
be
one
the
last
same,
year.
hopefully.
That's right, that lady.
We see you
yes.
up there.
Yeah. It was last year.
You
That's
should
right.
bring the horse up after the Derby and put the saddle cloth on him and have everyone take a picture in the winner's circle.
Yeah, and he'll volunteer to clean up, won't you?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Anyhow, so when now that's going to be as soon as the doors open at 9 o'clock. They can start that too.
Yeah, they should, as far as I know.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
They had it. We had it last year, and when it was very popular, so we're
Yeah.
back by popular demand.
Yeah. There you go. Steve, I want to thank you so much for
thanks,
hosting
Steve.
this thing.
Thank you guys for coming, and thank everybody else who's made it here, or those that are listening on the webcast.
Yeah. We love you out there, webcasters too. Thanks a lot and enjoy. And our last wish for anybody is the horses getting around and the jockeys getting around nice and safe. See you tomorrow.
You can pick up the copies of the Lindo Report up here for tomorrow if you want them.
Oh, all right. I'll hand them out. I got nothing to do.